welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be building a larger scale version of this motorcycle, and I'm realizing that with the new skull skin, this gives total Ghost Rider vibes, and I think at the end of the Halloween event, you actually get a flaming skull. So we'll have to check in on those Ghost Rider vibes for sure once we get the flaming skull as well. Hopefully we'll have an awesome bike to highlight that. A couple of days ago, I built this wheelie bike, and my goal was to make it kind of like an awesome street bike that like leans into the turns and is really nice to drive. And this thing's okay to drive, but I found it extremely limiting working on the scale of these small tires. And you can see as soon as I lean a little bit too much, I tend to oversteer because I'm losing wheel contact with the ground because I just have parts. I have parts that are just on the ground the more I lean. Like, especially on that left side, there's that corner. Like, there's nothing I can really do about that because I have no room for anything else. So I thought if we try again, but instead of building to the scale of these wheels, let's build to the scale of this wheel, and let's try to use all like the gyro stabilization and all this stuff and like the leaning, and see if we can get a much more realistic feeling street bike. And of course I'm gonna have the wheelie functionality as well, because that's the best part of this thing. But I want the wheelie functionality and I want the leaning functionality to feel fun. And hopefully we'll be able to get more speed too, because I could barely fit enough engines in here to even like get these breakneck speeds that you see right here. Which, you know, I mean, there's big numbers on the gauge, but the feeling, I want the feeling. I want to feel like I'm racing a street bike. I don't think I ever actually head-on collisioned with this thing. Oh, wow. Pretty durable with the collision physics. All right, now this is giving even like more Ghost Rider vibes with all the glowing and stuff. Like, I know that I don't think his bike actually glows, but for some reason it just makes me feel like it's even more Ghost Rider-y. I don't know. Time to start with, I'm gonna start with the wheel, I guess. So for this one, I think the go-kart seat might be the most reasonable, the best one, because it's gonna put me still on top of the bike. I'm just gonna look, there's a cost benefit, because what I really like about this bike is it looks like I fit on it. Like, to the scale of my body, it makes sense. I mean, it is actually pretty big compared to my body, to be honest, but that effect is gonna get amplified greatly when we start building a bike. Like, this wheel is literally as big as, it's bigger than me. Look at this. Oh, well, it's in the ground now, but you get the idea. Never actually really spawned in a wheel just by itself, have I? These things do not behave like you'd expect them to behave when they're on their own. Oh, that's actually kind of fun. Yeah, that's gonna be the whole video now. We're just gonna be playing with this tire. We're dancing. Yeah, this is weird. It's getting weirder. How long you guys want to watch this for? All right, skip ahead to 15 minutes if you want to move past the wheel section. No, I'm just kidding. We're done. We're done. Don't skip ahead to 15 minutes. You're gonna miss a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so now with the street bike, we can actually probably add some suspension in here. Let me see. Let's try to like, what's our dimensions here? If this is the wheel, our back wheel, I feel like that's the appropriate dimensions right there between the front and back wheels, probably. I'm just like mentally imagining a bike on top of these wheels. I don't know how I want to do steering for this. I'm probably gonna want to have it'll fit better. I can probably do wheel steering with a servo instead of a steering hinge like I had to do with the other bike, which I eventually got rid of and just used gyro steering. But the size of this thing, gyro steering might not be enough by itself, but I think suspension goes on top of this, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to hide this very well, but my goal is to try to hide this. It's not often that I really focus on aesthetics for builds, but I'm gonna try here, and you're gonna see exactly the limitations of my abilities with this. It's just like, I've never been a visual artist. I've been a musical artist, but visual artist, I always have the image in my head, and then I lay it down in whatever form, whether it's paper or video game, and it just looks like I was 5 years old when I built it or drew it. All right, I'm working on, like, I'm going into more detail than I planned on, but I'm working on trying to make it so that this steering hinge not only steers the wheel, but that the steering handles are also going to steer with it. So it is its own system. That is proving some difficulties when it comes to, naturally, I would want to attach the rest of the bike like from here, but this is all attached to the steering system. So I need to not attach here, but I do need to, I guess, attach up here, which doesn't feel like it's gonna look, I don't know. It's gonna be a little bit weirder from there, but let's just see what I can do with it. There we go. That covers it. That's pretty good. So with this, I just don't know if there's potential to be collisions here. Oh no, I made a mistake. This attaches back to where back to the steering. I can't have that. There we go. I fixed it using this rounded corner piece. Okay, so from here, what I'm trying to do right now is create like a little wheel well. I don't know if it's gonna look perfect, but let's see how it does look. That looks good, except for the fact that I have suspension that's gonna make the wheel ride up a little bit more. Let's put these on maximum. So what I'm trying to do right now is just build out the shape of the body, just like the frame of the bike. And then hopefully I'll just have room in the middle here to fit the rest of the function part of it that I'm gonna need. I feel like this is where the bottom of it should be. All right, I think we're getting somewhere. So let me I'm gonna start attaching the back wheel now. I feel like for the back suspension, it's gonna make the most sense to have one of these things going on. But like further up here, this is like what, a 4-block gap? Yeah, so like that'll be the suspension going to the back wheel. I feel like this thing is going to be very slow. I really think pipe pieces should have better aerodynamics. They're roundish. The wind will shoot around them. At least there shouldn't be any like red aerodynamics. I can understand yellow. Okay, but red? I don't think red. I don't think it deserves it. Pipe pieces are better than blocks. Now, as I continue to build this, I am going to put a full disclaimer out here that I've never ridden a motorcycle. I've ridden a dirt bike like once, but I don't know anything about the anatomy of motorcycles. I'm going purely based off of my visual memory and association and using like reference images. But as far as the actual realistic mechanics, I know some of you are going to be like, that doesn't go there. That doesn't work that way. But I'm going for bike vibes. I just care about the vibe of this bike. It has to look the part to the untrained eye. To the trained eye, don't say anything. You be quiet now, you trained eyes out there. You ever see those videos where people are asked to draw a bicycle from memory? And like a bicycle has like that triangular frame, but nobody actually intuitively knows the shape of the triangular frame. I feel like I'm encountering that as I look at bike images or motorcycle images. The seat is kind of over the back wheel almost for like street bikes. Yeah, I would expect it to be more like here, but that's like where the tank is, right? Which like, I understand intuitively that the tank has to be somewhere, but for some reason I thought the rider would be more like here, but no, the seat's kind of like back in this area. So that's interesting. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a dummy. I mean, on bicycles, wait. Okay, I'm also realizing that on bicycles, you're pretty much sitting right above the back tire as well. All right, it's just one of those things I never thought about before. So let's take our seat and we put it right around there, I think. Right around here, I think is one of these two spots is good. All right, it's coming along. I'm liking it so far. I just gotta try not to ruin it. I don't even know if this whole thing works yet as intended. A little nervous about that. But actually, now that the seat's on here, I can kind of try it. Also, I need a logic gate to apply the steering hinge angles. All right, how's this looking? Okay. Oh, I don't have... Oh, I need to fit gyros in here and stuff. Well, let's check the steering. Ooh, oh, I love that. It worked just as intended. It is, it's the right way. Yeah, it's the right way. Oh, yeah. Okay, gyros. Forgot about gyros. The annoying thing about the gyro stabilizer is it has this very annoying hitbox where it doesn't look like anything's really going on up here, but you gotta fit it in there somewhere. I think right there. Actually, that's pretty good. Let's put this on maximum. Uh-oh. No, wait, no way that's not enough. It can't be that heavy. Uh-oh. I don't like that. When I turn, something bad's happening when I turn. The suspension. It's the suspension. The blocks can turn, but the suspension can't. Let's see, if I get rid of these, I guess it still kind of looks okay. There's still a little bit of a collision on the corner. If I delete the suspension, now this doesn't work because the pipe pieces have no connection to the steering joint. I'm gonna do a weird thing. This is probably gonna mess up the wheel physics a lot because I think in my past experience, having the wheels be angled doesn't work very well. Yeah, that's the issue with having the wheel on an angle, is it starts to like push you. So we're gonna roll backwards, but it does look a lot better, but it's doing physics things. So it's like, either way, if we want suspension, we're gonna have to do physics things either way. Okay, so now let's just ignore how weird this looks, and we need propulsion and leaning and all that stuff. So we got some room in here. Start slapping some engines down. All right, for the sake of steering I have 3 engines in here. For the sake of steering assistance, and I have room for it, I'm gonna add, this should help us with steering as well. And then this will be our leaning. That I think is a reasonable amount of leaning right there. I don't know if I have room for this or how complicated it's gonna be, but right now the leaning feels really extreme. I'm also like, I'm kind of slow and I don't like that. Like, I'm slower than my small bike. I really wanted this thing to feel speedy. I do feel like part of that is the leaning of the front wheel. Like, if I don't lean the front wheel at all and just have it kind of look weird. Do I go faster? I feel like I am going a lot faster. Not a lot faster, but I am going a bit faster now. So 113 I got up to there. 95 I cap out at now, so I lose 20 kilometers an hour just by putting that little lean on the front wheel. I might just take away the suspension on the front wheel. It's supposed to be a street bike anyway, so is it worth the weird physics? Let's just put it back where it's supposed to be. Let's just have it have a static attachment. It's apparently easier said than done. These dimensions kind of are perfectly misaligned to be able to attach here, but also have a nice angle. I think this is a reasonable workaround. That right there, just 2 separate pipe pieces, 2 separate series of pipes. There we go. All right, how fast is this thing gonna go now? Look at that, already up to 100 120 almost. My seat does look a little weird up there. I kind of want to use this as the seat, but then that gets in the way of some things, but let's just move things out of the way. But that right there looks perfect, but I'm losing 2 engines. I'm losing so much space, but aesthetics wise, kind of revamps the whole thing. But now how fast am I? I still break 100. That's not bad. Is it possible for me to fit engines anywhere else? I could potentially move this gyro stabilizer right there. That doesn't look too bad as far as like seat placement goes. Wedge pieces right here. So that frees up a little bit of room. More room down here for engines can go there. A bulldog engine can go right there. Kind of adds to the sound aesthetic. Oh man, this is feeling pretty good right now. Oh, my steering hinges got control. Oh, I deleted my NOR gate. That was important. I feel like I could fit some more room back here. Like, I feel like this goes a little bit too high almost. Like, it should be more down like this, which leaves a lot of room right there for some potential like logic gates. All right, I'll admit it looks a little too thick. Now it looked better the other way, I think. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so we do want a wheelie button, which I think there's plenty of room for gyros. I can delete this and add some gyros in here. I really wish I was faster. I wanted this thing to feel like a racing bike, but we're gonna have space go in that direction. I don't know yet how strong we're gonna have to be. All right, that's way too strong. There we go. Man, the wheels do not like to be... It's kind of weird thinking about it, but the wheels don't like to be angled. I know they're like perfectly round and everything, so there's no angle that like rotating it doesn't make sense that it would know that it's being rotated. But they function really well here. Like, see how they're not sinking into the ground? But when we tilt, that's when like now like it wants to sink into the ground for some reason. Anyway, I think I forgot to finish my thought way back earlier in the video about tilting. I feel like I wanted to add logic in to create a system where the slower you're going, the less you tilt, and the faster you go, the more you tilt, so it feels a little bit more immersive. But I don't know how much logic I would need to do that, and if I don't have a lot of room right now. It might be pretty simple with like math blocks, but I'm just so unfamiliar with that style of logic that I don't know yet. Let me look. Like if we take our speed. Oh, we have room in here. I've found a spot to put another engine, actually. I'll put this turning one back here, and I can put another engine just like that. Yes. And I feel like we need to use like an arithmetic block, like the speed goes out to the arithmetic block. It has a constant of 0.1. So then we multiply the speed. So this is going to go out to the number display. So now let's see, 0.1. Oh no, it's not taking the raw speed value because here we're setting the speed and it's just gonna output 1. It's not outputting the speed. We have no way to, I don't think we have a way to granularly or gradiently detect the speed, like on its speed gradient. We have to like set designated speed thresholds with a different speed sensor. So one speed sensor would be like trigger below 10 kilometers an hour, 20, 30, and so on. I wish we could just take the raw speed value. Because yeah, if I do just the speed out to the number, we have it, yeah, 0 or 1. That's it. See, all that stuff in between doesn't count. Dang, so I thought this was gonna actually be like just a couple of logic blocks, but I'm gonna have to have a speed sensor for every threshold I want to change my tilt. If we could have the raw speed value, then the tilt could just very, very gradually adjust to your speed, which would be super immersive. I feel like with the addition of the math blocks, all of these types of sensors, like the speed sensor and the altitude sensor, there should be like a toggle button that you can switch between a binary output, like between 0 and 1, versus a raw output, like the raw value output. Like there should be like a raw button. Just click for the raw output. That'd be super useful on a lot of different blocks. So I might not be able to do that. All right, so as I drive this thing around a little bit, so far I do notice a similar oversteering problem, where at low speeds I feel pretty fine. But then, like, if I do weird things with the throttle, or if I'm going faster, then you can see there's definitely, like, an oversteer issue. So where's my center of mass right now? Pretty centered, to be honest. I would like to... I don't want to delete an engine, but I kind of have to. So I do want to add a weight in here. What's in here? No, that's too high. I don't want to raise my center of mass. But I'm going to add a 50 kilogram weight on the bottom to lower my center of mass and push it forward. Doesn't affect my speed, which is good. There is still oversteering. I wonder if that may actually be this steering thing. Let's actually remove the inputs from this entirely, so it's doing nothing. So now my steering right now is purely the leaning and the wheel, the steering bars, the handlebars. And this, it does actually feel kind of okay, but it was spinning out for a second. If I like really lean into it, I end up spinning out. Get it? Lean into it? Because it leans. Yeah, I don't want to oversteer like that. I'm actually surprised at how well this thing steers just with its own steering handle. Actually, yeah, I mean, you have to lean into it. Kind of wish the servos had steering help. I actually want steering help on this thing. I'm gonna bump it down to 5 degrees. That might be not enough. I mean, it definitely feels way more stable, that's for sure. But look at my steering radius now. It's terrible. All right, now what happens if I lean more? There we go. Oh, look at that. Okay. Apparently I only strafe this way. I don't strafe this way. All right, does leaning make me turn sharper? It does make me turn sharper. Ooh, yeah. This is actually all of a sudden way more stable. This doesn't over steer anymore. I'm not even using gyro steering at all. I mean, I'm using gyro leaning, but that's like just to replicate the natural leaning of the motorcycle. But like, this is starting to feel really cool. Wheelie! Oh, wheelie's a little bit too strong. I got stuck. This is becoming what I wanted it to be minus the speed. That's the one thing this thing lacks is the speed. There we go. That's a good wheelie strength. You gotta be gentle with it. Once you go too high, you lose it. This is looking pretty cool though. I just wish I could steer sharper at lower speeds, which maybe I can. Well, no, but that the higher angle. Hold on, let me test the higher angle. Because now I might have the oversteering effect, or maybe not. It's actually not that bad. Yeah, this is actually really not that bad. Oh, there we go. Now we're having the oversteer effect. But we only want this at lower speeds. Okay, let me try something. So we do need a speed sensor now. What's lower speed? Under 100. Once we go over 100, then we want less steering. Okay. All right, 100 kilometers an hour. All right, so this will be a 100 kilometer an hour thing. So if we are not at 100 kilometers an hour, this will be active. And then here's our steering control for full range of motion, A, D. All right, unfortunately, this can only send a positive output to this. So now if I want a negative output, this will be then D. There we go. So now I steer the full sharper 10 degrees of motion when I'm under 100 kilometers an hour. And then if I go over 100, it should not work now. Yeah, so now the steering does not work anymore. I'm just leaning. So now I want a separate thing. So when this is active, these two logic gates go out here. One is gonna be positive A, negative D, but it's gonna be negative 0.5. I hope that it works like fraction like that. Like it's gonna go half the degrees, positive 0.5. Negative 0.5. So now these, oh, they also need to receive a signal from the speed sensor. So they shouldn't do anything until we're over 100, in which case we should steer less. So now if I slow down, we should see the steering increase as we get below 100. All right, so we're slowing down. Here's our steering, then we go below 100, and then you see, yeah, it worked. So now we have sharper steering at lower speeds, so we can better like navigate like this, like turning around and stuff. Should it be even sharper? So if I go 15 degrees, that means I need to change the output of these to a third, 0.33, because I feel like 5 degrees is good for our high speed. So now we should be able to turn even sharper. There we go. We can actually kind of turn around on the course now. Not too bad at low speeds, actually. And then once we break 100, then it becomes much less. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't do a negative, did I? Ah, yeah. Negative 0.33. I might want a little bit more, like 0.4. Maybe let's just try 0.5 again. The main thing is I just want to avoid oversteering. All right, so we're going fast. And actually, that feels good. So this is like 7.5 degrees. Yeah, that feels nice. So now I actually feel like I should output these as well to my steering and then have this go a little, or my leaning rather. Let's put these on 8. What do they feel like at 8? Ooh, that is actually kind of feeling nice, except maybe not. No, it's kind of okay. I do kind of like it actually. All right, so now I think I can repurpose those same AND gates to now output to the leaning gyros as well. Oh, it needs to be the opposite though. At low speeds, we want less. Dang, it needs to be the exact opposite. So that means I would actually need a whole new set of logic gates. So I'm thinking, never mind. Maybe I don't need a whole new set of logic gates, but I don't know of a way right now. All right, now that I'm happy with the logic, I'm gonna hide it. All I gotta do is just turn it facing inwards. That shouldn't affect any connection points. All right, let's paint this thing up a little bit. All right, I'm kind of digging this paint job here. Got a little snake thing on there. We got our wheelie button too. Everything works fine there. Man, something about wheeling slows you down so much. So yeah, under 100 kilometers an hour, we can turn this sharp. So at least for this size of road, it's like just enough to turn around, do a U-turn. But over 100 kilometers an hour, you can see we turn much more gradual, which just gives us a lot more control and prevents us from oversteering. And I think it feels pretty natural. We got like the nice lean. Can wheelie at will. Got the headlights on the front. Actually, I might be able to do the headlights a little bit better. I think that's okay. Now let's compare. Let me save this thing. Let's compare this to the smaller one. Oh my goodness. So obviously, like, it's so much nicer to see your character riding the bike, I will admit. I really do appreciate that with the smaller bike. But this one just fits the aesthetic, I think, a lot more. And I put way more time into just putting blocks down on this because there's a lot more blocks. This is 108 blocks. This is, the small one is 29 blocks. There's only 29 blocks. So 108 versus 29. Here, let's do, oh, like you can already see the difference in how this thing feels. All right, but this thing probably does go faster. Yeah, this goes so much faster, but that's just the nature of small wheels. Wow, it goes to 160, 170. Small wheels in this game just need way less power to go fast, and they just have a way higher speed potential. But the big wheels, oh my god, it is a lot slower. Can I add like thrusters into here? Nah, anything I add is gonna ruin the aesthetic. Like, I just feel like I got it dialed in pretty well. All right, but this thing, it's fitting the vibe. It's getting the vibe a lot better than the other one. And it's just because when you're building on a bigger scale, you just have a lot more room to play with. So yeah, I'm very happy with this as a bike. My only gripe with it is I wish it was faster. So I could see if you guys liked this kind of 2-episode mini series of building a small scale version and then like trying to replicate it with a large scale version to see how they compare. Let me know if you like I could see this happening with other types of builds. And if you want to see this happen with more types of builds, let me know what types of builds you think would be good for this that you would like to see. I feel like that's kind of a realistic wobble that happens to people sometimes if they try to do something reckless. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, you'll probably enjoy some more that you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.